Genshin Impact, an open-world fantasy game that I've come to enjoy for many years at this point. This video isn't sponsored, and while Genshin has its ups and downs, it's still a really fun game for me. I've been around since the first Lantern Rite, just before Zhao's first ever ban rite. In fact, I think I was only convinced to play because of Zhao, but besides the point. Hello, my moon and stars. My name is Mauve, and today we'll be redesigning some Genshin characters. Because I have brain rot for my silly little D&D world, I'm actually going to be redesigning some characters as if they were from my D&D campaign, using their backstories to guide me. Let's start with Ganyu. I had a bit of trouble with Ganyu in the beginning because I didn't know what elements to keep of her design that would still read as Ganyu, while giving her a redesign that better represents where she would be from in my fantasy world. I also almost forgot to make her tiefling as well. Something funny that I remembered when I was choosing who to pick was that I actually have a storyline involving the Qilin, which Ganyu is half Qilin. The 4 holy beasts exist in a country named Aprana, and the Qilin is one of them. There are only 4 holy beasts existing at one time, and they are reincarnated each time they pass on. The current Qilin is a tiefling boy named Van Jiang, so for the sake of Ganyu, she comes after them. Ganyu, in my D&D world, as I said, would be reincarnated as the next Qilin, ready to help the country in its desperate times of need under the care and concern of Cerelia, goddess of justice. Personality-wise, I think she'd still be the same. A workaholic who feels out of place no matter where she goes, and a kind person always ready to help. The Qilin, being a very peaceful creature in my world, always gets reincarnated in some sort of, I don't exactly know how to put it, but in a situation in which they are not typically allowed to be peaceful. And thus, they learn to value peace and value justice. So it's sort of a learning experience as they get reincarnated in each lifetime. Ganyu probably took me the most time to actually nail down. While I love the art itself, boy did it take me a long time. In the back of my mind, I always associate her with her hair, the mountain flowers she likes to eat, and diamond gradients. It took some finessing with the outfit, but I think I got it to a reasonable mishmash of the things I wanted to put her in. Originally, she had both sleeves, but being an archer myself, sleeves get annoying, so I took one of hers off. I don't care. Genshin has a funny habit of giving characters almost the same haircut, and I was initially going to give Ganyu short hair, seeing as when viewed from the front, you can't see the rest. However, doing so would make her look a little similar to Lumine, so I opted for stretching her hair out into a massive braid. I didn't know what to do with her bell, but I wanted to keep it since it's a very unique item on her design, so I ended up tying it to some ropes around her waist. I had also meant to turn the ribbons dangling from her waist into more prominent red ropes, like how her design hints at, but, I ultimately forgot. I'm pretty happy with her design right now, though. Next, we have Kokomi. Kokomi was the first one I picked, as she would easily be a Triton, a race of people who live underwater. Normally, my Tritons are blue or green, but considering the lore of Enkanomiya, I made her a deep-sea Triton. Due to the lack of light and the dark atmosphere, she would be pale in color and have large black eyes to absorb any light that doesn't make it down there. She's nearly blind above water, but that doesn't stop her. I had a pretty clear vision for how I would translate Kokomi's design and character into my D&D world. Considering lore for my world, however, would make Kokomi a bit different personality-wise. Deep-sea Triton have to constantly deal with monsters from the abyss, violent creatures who hunt for sport and thrive on chaos. As the high priestess of her colony and a cleric blessed by Sino, goddess of the sea, she would naturally take to the position of defending her people. Side note, I think it's really funny that I have a god named Sino, considering, Sino, but I swear, I've had this D&D campaign and all these gods for like years before Sino came out. I have receipts somewhere, trust me. She can summon creatures of water to help her aid in battle, and if you haven't noticed, she's part shark. While Triton hybrids aren't uncommon, it's a bit more likely as a deep-sea Triton would develop this way instead of one at moderate depths. You can't see it in the final artwork, but I also changed her vision to reflect that of a medallion of Sino's blessing. I still love her first outfit I concepted with the sleeves, but those would be difficult underwater, and it also blocked majority of her outfit in the pose, so I did away with it. I think it would be something she would adopt on land, since she wouldn't be slowed down by water. Kokomi has a very strong color palette consisting of mostly like purple, blue, and white if we don't count her hair. I wanted to keep her outfit mainly purple or blue since I would be turning her entire skin pink. I don't remember my initial idea for her hairstyle, but I cut it down to a shorter, simple ponytail on her head. I left the bangs framing her face as it reminds me of a standard Hime cut, so I didn't change those. I gave her some diamond-shaped scales to bring in some texture and intrigue to her skin, as everything else had detail, but, like, she didn't. And lastly, Lumine! Lumine, I also struggled with. I think Kokomi is really the only one I had a clear vision for. I had a solid idea for Lumine in terms of translating her into my fantasy world, but the issue is that I've never actually designed a demon in this form yet. Simply put, given Aether and Lumine's past connections and the whole Descender theory, and also them coming from the sky as stars, and also the Abyss prince/princess storyline, well, safe to say that both Lumine and Aether would be demons from the Beyond. Demons can come from two places, the Beyond or the Abyss. The Beyond is where your cosmic horror stuff type lies, and I think the twins would be from there. It's a little hard to explain my thought process, but demons from the Beyond don't naturally have a mortal form. Only demons of immense strength and power can maintain a form to roam the lands of the material realm. Lumine in this concept is kind of taking on both the role of heavenly horror and the Abyss princess. I've always imagined that a Beyond demon's immortal form would always be very dressed up and regal with an additional animalistic trait. For some, it's horns, tails, limbs, or wings, or more. Secretly, demons from the Beyond are where tieflings came from. No matter how much I tried, I couldn't get an interesting formal dress to work, so I opted to put Lumine in these weird pants with one of the legs cut shorter than the other. I definitely think it was an odd choice that if I had time, I would go back and revisit once I knew more how I wanted the heavenly demons to look like. I always knew going into her design that I wanted some form of halo, so that's what we ended up with. As for the wings, I knew I always wanted to give her wings. I was initially going to give her wings similar to what they looked like in the beginning of the game where we saw them, but again, somewhere along the way, I forgot what I was doing, and I gave her mutated bird wings, which does still work for the demon concept, just not really recognizable as, like, Lumine's wings. I don't do a whole lot of fan art, but this was really fun. These were just the first ones that I could think of, but let me know, who is your favorite Genshin character? Mine is probably Fremine. I love him. He is my son now. Thank you to my patrons, Dindin with Him, A. Hartley, Otokonoko, Octopus Lion, and Cinnamon Spiders. Your support helps this channel keep going. Thank you guys so much. I have nothing else to say. Bye-bye.